All right. Today I want to welcome Ethan Simblist from MeritDirect, who is here to talk to the AirStack community about tech stacks and what MeritDirect does and how they're using tech to drive business growth. So, Ethan, warm welcome, and please go ahead and tell us about yourself.
Hey, so thanks for the opportunity. I work for MeritDirect. We're a 150 employee direct marketing company. I've been in digital advertising for about 18 years now. I was brought aboard about 5 years ago to launch a digital business. So our company as a business, we are a data services company known as DaaS, Data as a Service. So we do data management, data hygiene, data monetization, and then data-driven advertising on the digital side. So we do digital data monetization, and then we also do data-driven display and video advertising across all devices, including mobile and connected TV. So that is where that's sort of where I'm at today. It started off as just me about 5 years ago, and my first to do was to actually build the tech stack and then build the business around it.
Yeah, that's awesome. So tell me, when it comes to your investments in technology and your people and your process to drive that, I mean, what's your role today now that you've grown this practice? What's your role in sort of the driving the investments?
So the company had seen what some of our competitors, companies like Epsilon, who also are data management companies, or Merkle, even though an agency, they're also a data company, and they do a lot of the same things that we do as well. They're part of Dentsu. I was brought aboard because they knew that they were sitting on rich data assets, and they knew that you could match them to online devices. They didn't know how to put all the pieces together. Even if they were, let's say they were just to do the onboarding, so take an email address and match it to a digital device, they don't have someone that knows who to reach out to monetize that data, or how to build a display campaign around it, driven by that data. Yeah. So that was really what I was brought aboard for, to put it all together and sort of productize it.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess if someone, just generally thinking about how you built a new practice area within your organization, if someone else was looking to, go down that path of building a new tech stack, building a team around it, what type of advice would you have with them, for them?
Yeah. So my first piece of advice, and this goes a long way, to give our CEO credit, he knew what he didn't know. So he knew that he needed to invest in talent, right? So I just happened to, I've been in digital, as I mentioned, for 18 years, programmatic for 10 years. So I actually worked for an ad exchange before. I worked for a DSP before. So I've got a strong programmatic background, but I also started my career selling email lists. So I kind of knew their world, but I also know the programmatic world. So they invested in me, knowing that I would be able to build a business around it. So talent is really key. So I found in building the business, our headquarters, for example, are just outside of New York City, and just a little bit far enough where it makes it a little bit more challenging to hire the right people. So then you got to think about maybe some flexibility in the type of, either be open to training or doing more training and hiring someone with a little bit less experience, or just hiring someone and letting them work remote. So I guess the key is just to do some research and figure out the type of person that has the knowledge base of how to build the foundation, and then you start layering on the talent on top of that.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about your tech stack and the type of talent that you've built around it.
So with our tech stack, so first I guess I'll start with the most important piece, which is the advent of data onboarding. So being able to match postal and email data with digital devices. So a digital device can include a cookie in a browser, and a digital device can also include a mobile ID, and now it can also include OTT, so it can include a smart television where programmatic ads are now being served. So it's a little bit early stage, but it's all encompassing.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and do you have, when you were thinking about how to build your team, how are you mapping that to the technology that you're using? And I guess one of the conversations we have here is that technology is changing so rapidly and sometimes becoming obsolete within a few years, or not being best in class anymore. So how do you ensure that you have the right people? You talked about, remote, but when it comes to their talents and their skill sets, how do you ensure that you have the right people for your tech stack?
Yeah. So then now these are the pieces that are around this data onboarding. Now it's very easy to upload the file. You don't need really people with a strong digital background to post a file to an FTP site or upload a file. But then it's what you do with the data that is a game changer. Mm-hmm. The second thing I did after, or just following, picking the data onboarding partner, we picked an ad server. We picked a demand side platform. We picked strategic partners for video versus display. So what I have done at other companies and have done here at MeritDirect is use tools that have training within their own they have their own training product, and it's free and accessible, so that if you can see that someone is maybe has just even a Google Analytics background, or maybe a Google search background, or any sort of biddable media, as some people call it, these people have the potential. And the reason why I picked, so I haven't mentioned that I've used DoubleClick Bid Manager as the demand side platform. I use DoubleClick Campaign Manager, known as DCM, as the ad server. And you can actually go to the DoubleClick site and get training and actually get certified. So and then you can just push. So what you can do is you take people that look like they have an interest in analytics, digital, modern digital marketing, programmatic. So if they touch any of the Google tools, if they touch any programmatic media, they have the potential and the capacity to learn using these tutorials. And then it's sort of win-win for everyone. So they kind of feel good in a sense of accomplishment when they get these certifications. They put it on their LinkedIn profile. And then once you have a certain amount of people certified, you can actually say that you're a Google certified company.
Yeah.
Within these different areas. So, you know, I have managed IADOPS folks in other roles and built small teams in other places. So this is my preferred route. So now there are actually other companies out there that are providing the same thing because they see the value in adding on these certifications. So it's good for the individual, it's good for their CV to build their experience, and then it ends up being easier for me, someone that does not really dive into the weeds of the actual campaign setup. I can sit back, have these guys maybe the first few weeks just focus on just learning, kind of like sitting a salesperson down, an entry-level salesperson down who's never used Salesforce, and making them watch their tutorials. They do the same thing, and I've actually gone through that same process.
Yeah.
So that's the reason for picking these kinds of partners, because it's very hands-off for me, and it's very easy to get someone up to speed. And then once they've done the learning, you know, I guess you really do learn the most once you start diving into the tool and running campaigns, and then you get advice from folks like Google. Google actually has some great folks on the support side that help walk the folks through the process. So now I've got an internal team of experts that are able to run strictly business-to-business campaigns around our proprietary B2B data, running programmatic display and programmatic video. So it has worked out very well for me, and this is what I would recommend other folks that are looking to get into it, that might be like me, that have the experience but haven't really rolled their sleeves up or have the capacity to dive that deep into the weeds.
Right.
This is sort of what I do for onboarding employees in operations. Yeah.
So it sounds like upskilling is somewhat of a focus there, and I applaud you, because I know firsthand too just how difficult it can be to find experts. So I guess one other thing that I know our community and your peers love to know is just simply, what are you keeping track of on the horizon? If you look 3, 5, 10 years out, what do you think is going to disrupt the ad tech world and the way that, you know, businesses like yours are running and being competitive?
So it's an interesting question. In ad tech, especially over the last years, I've seen the pace of change change dramatically. So things that I was doing 2 years ago are not applicable to our business today. We've had to make some changes. Just like generally speaking, just as an example, a few years back, sort of finding the right audience and running it anywhere, which is some refer to as open RTB, open real-time bidding, so we're having a $10,000 campaign run on 10,000 sites, as long as you have the right users, was generally perceived as okay. But with fraud being at the top of everyone's mind, knowing that at least a third of traffic, if gone unchecked, will be fraudulent, and then looking at things like viewability, if you're just running programmatically and you're not using special tactics to maximize viewability, your business could be affected in a very negative way. So looking out, it's very hard to predict. So while I think that everyone expected Amazon to grow as a company and do some incredible things, people in business to business advertising, which I'm in, did not anticipate them starting their first year earning $1 billion in business to business ad revenue.
Wow.
And then now earning 10 billion with a B, becoming the third largest advertising entity in the United States. So a year ago, everyone was concerned with the duopoly. Some say that they took 76, which is Facebook and Google. Some say they took 76 cents out of every dollar spent. Now you've got Amazon taking up some of that market share as well. Yeah. So looking out, it's very hard to predict. Now Facebook is under a great deal of scrutiny. They're having trouble with globalization, taking their product global with EU privacy policies. They're getting fined over $100 million by the EU for their privacy standards. So my point to all this is that it's very hard to predict where we're going to be, but what is necessary in this business is to always stay on top. So not just reading the trades, but going out to conferences with senior leadership and sort of get a sense for things that other folks are playing with or what marketers are playing with that can kind of set you apart. So for example, right now, a lot of people are just now getting into programmatic television. Programmatic audio is blowing up in a very big way. People are still figuring out the KPIs behind that. Right now, I'd say in the near term, video will continue to grow at a double-digit percentage, and then as part of that, you've got OTT programmatic TV. So now we run a video campaign. It can run across all devices, including a television, which wasn't previously thought of as part of the programmatic mix. Mm-hmm. So down the road, beyond that and beyond what I see in the next couple of years, very hard to predict, because I think there is a chance that maybe Facebook might stumble a little bit as they go global, and maybe Amazon will be stronger with privacy, and maybe Google will be stronger with privacy, and folks like Snapchat and Pinterest might gain more market share. So I think that generally speaking, it's tough for the small guy, and what you need to do as the small to medium-sized business competing in advertising is to continue to evolve and be prepared to pivot at the drop of a dime. So that's just generally how I look at this business, which makes it exciting, actually.
Yeah, we're constantly going to events and looking at the what's next, but it's so hard sometimes to just make a choice and dive into something totally new when it's not heavily established in the market and things like that. So speaking about making tough decisions, and then I'll let you go for the day and get back to taking over the world. Is there a particular decision that you've made about tech that you either are so proud of or ended up regretting?
Yeah, so that's a good question. I think in this business, it sounds cliche that you learn by failing, but it really is true. So 5 years ago was kind of early for data onboarding, and when we first went live, I didn't negotiate as well as I could have.
Yeah.
So I got hit with a very large cost. So it really impacted my launch. So it was sort of a 6-month path to hitting a positive revenue territory. So if I knew that they were holding these cards so close to their vest that included significantly lower pricing options, I would have done a better job negotiating.
Yeah.
And eventually I did. I actually, just by going to these industry events with industry leaders, I actually found out that I was paying double what some other folks in the marketplace were paying.
Yeah.
So to be fair to our partner, they renegotiated with us on the fly mid-contract, which was technically not part of the contract. They didn't have to do this, but they knew that it was the right thing to do, and I've stayed a customer ever since. So that would be my biggest challenge.
Yeah. All right. Well, Ethan, I'd like to sneak in one last question to catch you off guard and put you on the spot. If you could choose 5 words to describe your tech stack, what 5 words would you choose?
5 words, huh? So I would say premium B2B audience, premium B2B audience, premium B2B programmatic audience. Those 4 words.
Okay. I'll take 4.
But yeah. So, excuse me. Premium B2B audience platform. There you go. There's 5.
All right. Got it. All right. Well, Ethan, thank you so much for joining and just sharing your ideas and your experiences with the AirStack community. I wish all the success to MeritDirect, and we've enjoyed working with you so far. So would definitely recommend you as part of other people's tech stack as well. So thanks so much and have a great day.
Yeah, thanks. Same to you. Thanks for the opportunity. Take care.
Bye.